whether it's celebrity drama, dating bullshit, or whatever is currently petting my peeves. And there's a lot of things. Please stop. Plus, I chat with some amazing guests. Today, I'm talking to author, TikToker, and star of a brand new web series, Rabbit, Kyle Prue. Kyle is a man after my own heart because he says it like it is, and he is unafraid of pissing off some of the men in the process. DemiGoddess is available on all podcast platforms, or you can watch this full episode on our Eve YouTube channel. You really want to watch it on YouTube because I look so amazing today. You have to look at my outfit. So rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, so it is time for the show. I'm here today with my producer, Clementine. Hi. Hey. Buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, Demi.
Shut your pie hole.
How dare you say that to my son?
How are you, Clementine?
I'm good. I've had a pretty lovely weekend and a pretty good week, but, I'm curious, what's grinding Demi's gears today?
Wow, I thought you'd never ask.
Petting your peeves.
People don't ask me enough. Currently, I am on a thing about the hashtag boy moms. And I know that seems like, Demi, why are you even worried about boy moms? You're not mom. You're not a mom, You're not even in that
But you have friends who are moms.
Exactly. One of my closest friends and my assistant, she's pretty much my mother now. Like, she just takes care of me. I pay her too.
We love you, Lindsay.
So much. Love you so much. She's changed my life, saved my life.
Yeah, Lindsay has an adorable toddler daughter, right?
Yeah, she's like 1 or something like that. She's adorable. She has a daughter. And she struggles with other moms and like making friends because there's this whole epidemic of hashtag boy moms.
I feel like what you're talking about, I've seen it on like TikTok where these moms are like, I'm a boy mom, hashtag boy mom, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, what does it mean?
Okay, so the boy mom thing is basically these women, they're so proud of raising a son that they dismiss the experience of being a mother to women that don't have sons. So they tell Lindsay, oh, you don't get it. You're not a boy mom. You have a girl. Girls are just so much different.
What wouldn't she get?
The thing is they make it sound like being a boy mom is better. Because it is different. Being a mother of a boy versus being a mother of a daughter, it's different, but it's equal.
Yeah.
And it's not better than, neither is better than. And that's the problem is they're shaming women who aren't boy moms. Oh, you wouldn't get it? Like, the problems of parenting, I think the struggles are just like, the experience of parenting is not dependent on gender.
It feels like it all ties in with the patriarchy.
Exactly. So really, this is my theory. The husband of the hashtag boy mom does not meet the emotional needs of the hashtag boy mom.
Okay.
So she is lacking the love from her husband that she needs. She invests all of this love into her son, into making her son into the man that she wishes her husband would be for her.
Got it.
She enables the son by providing for him, doing everything for him so much so that the son expects it once he goes out into the real world.
It's almost like they teach their sons how to weaponize incompetence. According to the internet, weaponized incompetence refers to a continual behavior that is typically intentional rather than a few occurrences where someone is unhelpful. So this could refer to, for example, in households or in marriages where the wife does all the cleaning and the husband is perfectly capable of pitching in, but he says, oh, I don't know how to wash the dishes, or I don't know how to load the dishwasher. And it's like, they know how to do it. They've seen their wife load the dishwasher X amount of times. They know how to do it, but they're pretending that they don't know how to do it so that they don't have to do it. And I feel like the hashtag boy moms, by, like you're saying, like wanting to fill the void of the lack of affection they're getting from their husbands with the affection they can get from their male child and raising him into the ideal partner that they wish they had, they're kind of like, it's just kind of like a smothering, which doesn't really teach the man how to fend for himself at any point or how to
That is exactly
load dishwashers.
That's exactly what the fuck I'm saying. Exactly to the T. You worded it perfectly.
I don't want any listeners to think that we're saying it's the mom's fault because it's, in a way, it's really the dad's fault of being distant. You know what I mean?
It absolutely is not the mom's fault.
And so it's like a generational.
Because also, if you think about the father was taught that by his father and it probably like emotionally abused by his father. It's all trauma. It's trauma cycles, deep rooted. I think that what we can say is like self-reflect and break the cycle. Okay, that's enough pie for one day. All right. Hi, it's totally Kyle.
It's totally Kyle.
Do people ever do that?
Constantly.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. It's annoying.
I would say it's been a tough couple of years to be a Kyle, just because the meme value of the name has skyrocketed. It's not as bad as being a Karen or a Chad, though. I think those people are really going through it currently.
It's really unfortunate for them. Every time I meet a person named Karen, I kind of judge them.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. They could be totally not Karen-like. And you can tell that they don't even want to admit their name is Karen.
Right. You're like, and what's your name? And they're like, it's Karen. And you're like the thing. They're like, yes, like the thing.
That's just awful.
The minute I saw the first Kyle meme, someone sent it to me, they were like, what dude's named Kyle eat for breakfast? And it was Monster Energy flavored ham or something. And I was like, it's never gonna go away. I could sense it was going to blow up.
That's so funny. But Kyle, I feel is kind of Kyle was a cool name always. The monster thing, I get that reference. I feel like people named Kyle Monster Energy drink flavored ham. That's hilarious. But they were always cool.
Kyle to me feels like the name of either a dude who owns a skateboard,
yes,
or an H&R Block accountant, and nobody in between.
So Kyle, I like your name, and I have just met you the last 5 minutes, and you're hilarious. Wow.
You're too kind. You're far too kind.
I mean, really, you're funny. So Kyle, I found you on TikTok, but tell me a little bit about you. Don't bore anybody, but just give us a little bit of a spiel.
Ooh, where to even start? I guess I'll start with TikTok. That's where most people know me from.
Yeah, I love your TikTok where you said how to piss off men. And you said, tell them that they're the male Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
I don't even know why it's so funny, but it is.
That one inspires a certain level of vitriol. That one is a little bit of a weapon of mass destruction socially. Yeah, I got on TikTok as a joke, as everybody who is a TikToker gets on TikTok as a joke, and then all of a sudden a video performs, and then they're like, oh, I need it. I can't live without it. Just making jokes on TikTok. I eventually started doing series after series, and then eventually stumbled upon How to Piss Off Men, which blew the whole thing up, maybe more than I ever expected or maybe even intended. But yeah, I originally sort of entered the professional workspace as an author. I was a kid author when I was 16. Or I wrote a book when I was 16. It came out when I was 17.
I would definitely consider that a kid.
Yeah.
Anything under 18, I'm I was a child.
I still call myself a kid, and people are like, oh, no, but you're not.
So a book whenever you were 16, though, how did you do that? What do you mean?
So my
who gave you the instruction manual on how to
write a book?
And how to get it published and shit?
There is not one. What had happened was it was the summer after my sophomore year, and my parents came to my siblings and I, and they were like, hey, we're going to do something fun this summer. And I was like, awesome, I love fun. And they were like, we're taking away the internet. And I was like, fun. And they were like, yeah, no, we're taking away the televisions and we're taking away your cell phones. And we're going to call it Summer Unplugged. They had branded
Summer Unplugged, they branded it.
It's the acoustic version of a summer. And I'm not a big, we talked about this before, I'm not a big outside guy. So I was like, God, what am I going to do the whole summer? So I kind of just as a little pet project wrote this book. Then when I got into my junior year of high school, I was getting a B- in English, and I was worried that it would become a C, and then my life would be ruined. And so I submitted the book to try and get extra credit. And my English teacher liked it, edited it for me, and I ended up at something called the New York Writers Pitch Conference, and pitched it to a bunch of publishers, and then all of a sudden it was published, and I was touring around and trying to get kids to read it.
That's so cool, because being in high school during that. Like, that's such a cool experience.
It was so weird because
it was kind of an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident, but I would go to other schools and speak to other high schoolers. So they'd be like, do you have any advice for these high schoolers? And I'd be like, I'm a high schooler. I don't know.
What was the book about?
So I have 3 books out now, and they're all in the same series. And it's a young adult fantasy novel.
Love fantasy, yes.
It's about a family feud. Not the game show, but like the Romeo and Juliet kind. And each family passes down like a different superpower. So it's like these 3 superhuman families who are like going head to head. I wrote all 3 books.
I love the concept, and I'm being so serious because I love fantasy books. I wrote like a very, very short book like that in like 5th grade of fantasy books. So that is so up my alley.
If someone had taken away all your technology, maybe you would have turned it into a career.
Maybe I would be an author like you. Damn it. Summer Unplugged.
Summer Unplugged. I recommend don't do it.
Jesus Christ.
If someone asked me to Summer Unplugged now, I think I would probably lose my mind.
If someone asked me to Summer Unplugged, I'd call CPS.
Right, yeah. Well, see, I tried, but I didn't have a phone.
Oh. So. I've had actually many Summer Unplugs. Yeah, I remember getting many Summer Unplugs.
Yeah.
And I don't like going outside either. I don't like you said, you don't have agoraphobia. That's a big thing that I don't like when I don't think I have agoraphobia either. I can go outside. I just don't really want to at all. I don't want to go places because I get anxiety.
I feel similarly. People will oftentimes like comment on my TikTok and they're like, he never leaves his house. And I'm like, I do. Not a lot, but I do sometimes.
Why do I need to? It's like, why does society put that pressure on us?
It's interesting because I think like as the more interconnected the world gets, the easier it is to get everything that you possibly need in your house.
Wow, yeah. Like the pandemic made kind of some dreams come true for me in the sense of everything accessible at home.
It turned a lot of extroverts into introverts, myself included. I think I was a big like going out person before the pandemic, and then now I am not.
Do you think that during the pandemic and stuff, you spent a lot of time self-reflecting? Like, I feel like a lot of people, what they need is they need to spend more time at home.
Yeah.
So they can self-reflect and just, I don't know.
I feel like the first couple weeks of the pandemic were the most like psychologically complicated time that I have like ever like witnessed, not even like in myself, but in like I think like everybody.
Everybody freaked, yeah.
Yeah, and it was also like it was the only time where like everybody in the world has been freaked out about the same thing at the same time. Like that to me was really crazy. But yeah, I was just like in a house in Michigan, just like chilling for 2 months.
Michigan.
Yeah, that's where my parents are from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you live now?
Here.
When did you move here?
A year ago.
Why?
For acting.
How did you move from Michigan to Los Angeles?
Well, so
to Hollywood, baby. Dreams
Hollywood.
came true. Hey, happened for me too. I'm from a small town, and I would have never imagined living in LA.
Where are you from?
A little tiny town called Red Oak in Texas. It's south of Dallas. I had never been to LA. I'd never been out of the country. I had been all over the States and stuff, but this was like unheard of. Like living in LA, unheard of. Like I saw the Hollywood sign for the first time on The Bachelor, and I screamed at the top of my lungs and like almost cried.
You were like, that's going to be me.
It was just that I had manifested this so much that I couldn't believe it was in front of me. I had told everyone, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV. I promise you. Like, I'm going to live in LA one day. And everyone was like, yeah, fucking right. Get a job. And I was like, I know that's going to happen, guys. It's not a big deal.
Well, it's happening to somebody. Like people are always like, no, that'll never happen. It's like, no.
The reason that I knew that it would happen and I couldn't explain it to people was I was like, at the time I was in college, and people in college had already started approaching me and saying, hey, are you Demi Lovato from Instagram? So I had gotten used. I was like, oh, people are recognizing me. I think that I could do something with that.
Totally.
And so then I was like, guys, I'm going to be on TV. No big deal. Like, just trust me one day. And so then whenever I was in LA, I was like, holy shit, I don't know. I did it.
And now you're quite literally on a TV.
So are you. And look at you. That's the other thing. So tell me how you did this for yourself.
Well, so when quarantine was starting, like when all the COVID stuff was slowly becoming a thing.
And you were in Michigan.
Yeah, I was a senior in college, and we were moving into pre-production for a play that I had written that we were going to do in New York.
Wow, you wrote a play.
Yeah.
You were going to do it in New York.
Yeah. We hit the first quarantine, which was supposed to be, like, remember when everyone was like 2 weeks? 2 weeks and we're out of this. We're good to go. So
I was so drunk, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't remember what anyone was saying.
Me as well. Yeah. They were like, okay, like 2 weeks. We were all like watching Tiger King. It seemed very chill. And then the producer was like, listen, we're going up in August. It'll be fine. Like this is going to blow over in a second. And then I called him in July, and he was like, hey, listen, theater's dead. You should find something else.
Theater's dead.
And I was like, cool, good, very cool.
But that's like so sad because you were, that was like a really cool opportunity that you were doing. And then, oh my God, it died.
It's interesting. There's so many people who I know who were like fulfilling their dreams the second COVID hit. Like
I got a podcast actually.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
not this one.
A different one.
I was so excited for that, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, "Well, this is not exactly how I thought this was going to be going."
Yeah, yeah.
You were in a even worse boat. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Well, it worked out because at the time I was a script editor on a horror movie. And they were planning to film it in Florida, and they had asked me to be in it, and I had said no because we were gonna, do this play. And so I ended up calling the director, and I was like, "Hey, man, y'all still making that movie?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "How? Like it's like COVID." And he's like, "We're doing it in Florida." And like they don't give a fuck.
We're raw dogging it in Florida.
Yeah. And
this is what he said.
And essentially, and they were like, "Listen, it's in like 6 months. Things will be like a little bit calmed down. Do you want to come and be in it?" And I was like,
"Do you want to know what's wild? Oh my God, I was filming in Florida too. I was raw dogging it."
Wait, what were you filming?
WWE.
You were in WWE?
Yeah, I wasn't a wrestler. I was like they had me as like a catalyst for a fight between two guys.
That is...
One was giving me roses. The other one was giving me turkey legs. It was hilarious. But it was in Florida, and it was during the pandemic.
That is the most... wooing a woman with a turkey leg is like... It's the Florida move,
I liked the turkey leg. I thought it was funny, but then like I don't like soiling my hands, so like I kept having. I was like, guys, I can't keep on like redoing this take after take with the turkey leg all over my hands.
You should have like put it on like a big like spear or something.
Wow, that would have been cool.
Yeah, although maybe best not to have sharp objects in the WWE ring.
Yeah, and especially me.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm clumsy. I'm like not aware. I'd be like, "How what?" Stab someone.
Impale the audience would be like, "Yeah,"
thinking, "Yeah, it's a thing." Like, do you see my finger right now?
Oh my gosh.
So imagine this: carrot slicer.
Yep.
Carrot. Human flesh.
Yeah. Wow. Were the carrots okay?
Yeah, I gave them to my dogs. They were for him. But my finger, I think I need stitches. I've kept it in the same place for 3 days now. I just keep changing the Band-Aid. But if I take it off and I hit something, it starts bleeding again.
The first thing I did when I moved to LA was cut my thumb open. And it was also during the pandemic, and it was back when like things were like pretty intense in LA. And I did not want to go to the hospital, so I just like let it ride for like a week. And it turned out okay. I called my friend who was an EMT, and she was like, "You will have a scar." And I was like,
okay,
cool.
I'm totally fine with that.
I've always wanted one. But yeah, I think you'll live.
Cool. That actually weirdly comforts me.
You're on top of it.
I started to Google how to give yourself stitches, and I said, I better stop.
That's a slippery slope.
Exactly what I thought.
There are some things in this life that you don't want to DIY, and I think that would be maybe number one.
Okay, so how the man making
Yes,
Raw dog in Florida.
So we made a horror movie in Florida, and from there I got a job teaching stunt people how to fight with swords. Because part of the Michigan acting education was sword fighting. And I got representation in Los Angeles, and they were like, "Hey, move on out here." And so I did, and now here I am.
Wait, so what? Are you still teaching sword fighting, or what is it?
I don't really do it anymore, but
can you please show me? I have a sword.
Here?
What do you mean?
You have a sword here?
At my house.
Oh, yes. I mean, sword fighting is like a teachable, learnable art form.
Oh my God, an art form. Yeah, I would love nothing more.
I love the idea of like people being like what's Demi been up to recently? It's like, oh, she has a podcast. She's studying the blade.
She's studying the blade. You know, though, my family, they would not be remotely shocked. You know, they would be like, of course she is. Of course she's studying the, what did you say?
Studying the blade.
Studying the blade, of course. My dad, I have a sword because my dad, he has a bunch of knives and stuff, and I wanted like one of his pocket knives just in case for handy reasons and
he
for
was
protection.
like, I'll do you one better.
Well, no, I mean, basically he did, but I said, I was looking through the knives and I saw the sword and I said, hey, Pops, could I maybe have that sword because it has like a sheath with it and I could look like a little Arya Stark running around here and it would be amazing and so cool. And he said, it's yours. And so, yeah, I have my little Arya Stark sword, my little needle.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to hear a fun fact? Latin for sheath is vagina. So that's why it's called the vagina, because it's the sheath for the man's sword. So patriarchy man, going back thousands of years. You're welcome.
Wow.
Wow.
And now we know.
To hold the penis, the sword's the penis. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that checks out. Like, I feel like the idea of like medieval men like making swords and being like, you know what this is kind of like?
Our dicks.
It's kind of like our dicks.
I can't believe you have so many interesting things about you.
I have a lot of, I think, creative ADD. I get very bored without a project.
Yeah, but I feel like your projects are so particularly interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like, they're like, oh, I like cooking, and I'm like,
well, they could be like, yeah, I wrote a book about like my autobiography or about like relationships. Well, you're like, I wrote a book about superhero families going up against each other. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was always I think like growing up like a very like weird dude. Like I think like
me too. It's okay.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
It's so strange. I was the Neopets girl.
I love Neopets. I the other one that I went crazy for was I was a Webkinz kid.
I was a Webkinz kid too.
Oh my God.
I remember this kid named Brant. He gave me a Webkinz for Valentine's Day because he knew I liked Webkinz.
That's a keeper. Maybe not.
It was in 7th grade. I was really shy, and I didn't say a word about it. I didn't say anything at all.
You were like, oh.
I was just like probably excited to go fucking log on to my Webkinz whenever I got home and put in my new German Shepherd he just gave me.
Yeah, I had a bunch of them, and then when I was in 7th grade, I had kids come over to help me with like a school project we were all working on, and they saw all my Webkinz, and then they started calling me the zookeeper at school. And so I got so embarrassed that I donated them to a church. That's my
zookeeper. That's actually a really funny roast.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I remember like that's sort of my supervillain origin story is that I gave away my Webkinz out of shame.
The trauma.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Dude, it's like honestly though, peer pressure will do that. Okay, so what made you get on TikTok and start talking shit about men? I mean, I love it and fully support it.
It happened very organically. I was at a party with my roommate Max, and we were.
Oh, Max, yeah.
Yeah, you know Max. We were just sort of hanging out, and we were like talking to like a few different like. I feel like the big like thing if you go to a party in LA is you're meeting like 15 dudes who are like so this thing I'm working on, like you guys are gonna go crazy for this, and then they just like talk for like 30 minutes
about the
screenplay or whatever it is, and
interesting.
Maybe I'm going to the wrong parties.
No, I don't go to any parties, and if I do go to parties, if anyone tries to talk to me, I do not respond.
You mace.
No, I can't. I got to keep moving.
Yeah, I feel you. But so. We were talking earlier that day about how it's funny that how cartoons, when they sleep, they go like, me, 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 me. And I was like, and so we were talking to this dude, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you resonate with this at all, but you kind of strike me as the kind of dude who, like, when he sleeps, he goes like, me, 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 me. And I just like witnessed a moment of like unmitigated rage in his eyes. And I was like, what is this? Like, it was like a phenomenon.
What is this? Because it is a thing.
Yeah, I felt.
It's a separate fucking thing.
I felt like the way he looked at me as if like this had been a thing that had been following him for years, or that like he did do that and I had been the first one to ever pick up on it. And he was like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean? And I was like, nothing, dude. And so I went home and I made this video and I was like, if you ever want to piss off a man, tell him that he seems like when he sleeps, he goes, me, 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 me. And it got like 2 million views. And someone was like, can I have some more of these? And I was like, oh yeah. So I like wrote up like a list of like 7 and I did 7. And it was like the best performing video I had ever done. And I was like, oh wow, like there's definitely like a cultural like fascination surrounding this. And it's always something that I've been, culturally fascinated in.
You've recognized it before, like this like this like I don't know, Clementine, like what would you call it? Because I never know what to call this man thing, this like ego, this pride thing, but like that's irrational and very aggressive, and like he described it.
According to psychologist Jay Carter on Oprah.com.
Hell yeah.
It's called the glass ego.
The glass ego.
It's so ego. Fragile. It's like made of glass, and anything, including me, can make it shatter.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting too, because I think like a lot of people have like recently, this is like a recent like criticism that I think like people have been like, men have been, lobbying against me sort of, is that they call me like a white knight. Which is sort of like, I think them sort of like implying that by like making this series that I'm like, I feel like I'm like saving like women or something, or that it's like.
Because that is gaslighting.
Yeah.
They're gaslighting you.
And what I've like tried to make very clear like recently is like this series is so much more about my relationship with men than it is about my relationship with women.
Literally. It's about, wow, I'm glad you said, like, that's a great way to say that.
Yeah. And I think, I especially like as a youngin, like never fit in with men, and never really had like male friends unless,
really?
They were, like similarly like strange kids.
What's your can I ask you what your relationship with your father is like?
My dad is great. I think like, as untoxic as a man can be is how my dad is, which is crazy because I think because of that, I expected all men to be like that in a certain way. And I just sort of like had a general frustration with the kind of people who I was coming into contact with all the time.
The thing that I'm getting at is, for me, I find that at the end of the day, that glass ego, like that ego is there more often than it's not.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people hide it and they act like it's not there, but really it's the core problem in a lot of relationships, and also like in society. Like
the really interesting thing, like, because like via this series I've been sort of pushed into the center of the conversation often. Mm-hmm. And what I've really sort of like intuited about anger is, and I had a professor who talked about this, which I always found really interesting, but anger is a secondary emotion. It's never the first thing.
First.
It's always hurt, insecurity, fear.
Fear of rejection, huge for men.
Yeah. And so like one of the things that I made very clear to do, because this was what I think like maybe separates this, because I don't want to feel like I'm just like endlessly bullying people.
That's exactly how I feel too.
Yeah. So what I never wanted to body shame people or like, you know, go after like people specifically. A lot of people have like tried to, I think, like rip off the series and have like, there's other dudes who are like, here's how to upset men. And then they'll like do a video and they'll be like, tell him he's bald and he's unlovable. And I'm like, you maybe don't do it so directly because, you know, some men kill people.
That's actually, what'd you say?
I said some men kill people.
Yeah, exactly. And also like, men are really, really insecure about losing their hair. That's like not nice at all to point that out. That's being just as bad as them.
And so what I found actually far more successful was you would attack structures that they had sort of like tied their masculinity to.
Hold on, let me write that down.
So for instance, like one of the big ones, the big joke I had that like immediately kind of like blew up was I said, when a guy talks about crypto, be like, oh, so it's like Cole's Cash. And it'll make him angry. And the reason it'll make him angry is because he has tied some sort of element of his masculinity to crypto, to his finances, to whatever. And comparing it to Cole's Cash, an infinitely more usable item, it will inherently upset him. And so I've always found more success attacking the structures. And I think it's actually like more of a like, I don't want to say like public good in the sense where like, if you are getting angry because a structure that you have like tied your masculinity to is being attacked, then I think it gives you a place to start. If the shoe fits. Yeah. That's kind of, you're not attacking it. Anyone specifically, basically, you're saying if the shoe fits, maybe you can self-reflect. Yeah, totally. And there have been moments in the thing where I've been like, I've used ones that people have said to me and have like hurt my feelings. You know, I'm not immune to it. Let's hear one. Mine was someone said, "Do you think you could beat a goose in a fight?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" The goose. Wait, let's think about it. Goose they're aggressive in fighting. Yeah, well, apparently geese. My brother got chased by a goose whenever he was a kid. He started crying, "Mommy, mommy." So that would really work on him. No, and actually he was very sensitive about it for a while. But the reason that the story was so funny to me, it was not the geese chasing him, that was scary. It was the fact that the miniature poodle just bucked the fuck up and went after those geese with no fear. Hell yeah. Scylla said, "Row, row, row," and Scylla was tiny. And I just remember being like, damn, Scylla is a badass. Scylla was like, time to earn my rent. Yeah, that she proved her worth that day, as you were. So yeah, she was like, do you think you could beat a goose in a fight? And I was like, yeah, I think I could beat a goose in a fight, you know, like, and she was like, it's a goose though. I was like, yeah, but I mean, a goose weighs like what, like 20 pounds? I'm like 100, I could beat a goose. She was like, I don't know, it's a goose. And I couldn't tell why, but this was like the first moment I was like, I could beat a goose in a fight. I just realized you were saying beat a goose. What did you think I was saying? Be a goose and become. It makes like, sense though too. Be the goose. Be the goose. She was aggressor. Like, she was like, I don't think that you could turn into a goose if you wanted to. And I'm like, how dare you? A very strong element of my masculinity is my ability to shapeshift into a goose. You know those books, Anamorphosis? Animorphs. Oh, is that what they were? Animorphs? Animorphs. God, they were incredible covers. Yeah, nobody read it as far as I know. Just had to look at the covers. I did read some. I remember looking at like recently like the plot of those books online, and apparently it gets crazy. I read some of them. She questioned your ability to beat the goose. Mm-hmm, and you said you think you could beat the goose. Yeah. On a certain level, like I had to step back and be like, why does this matter to me? Because I rarely encounter any geese. It's not a thing that will affect my life, but it was important to me to be thought of as a person who could beat a goose in a fight. And then I realized that was some sort of weird, you know, like weird thing that I had tied my conception of myself to, is goose fighting. So you saw your ego in that. Yeah, totally. And, but then, you know, like stepping back, I was like, there's no societally good reason for me to at any point to like be like physically violent at all, you know, like even with geese.
am so shocked by you. I'm having a hard time, Clementine, because I truly, I have not seen in a man like an ability to like not only like see the ego, but also know that that's like not a good thing and be like, I see that me wanting to beat this goose is ridiculous. Why do I feel that way? Recognizing it's your ego and being like, that's ridiculous. I can let that go. That I cannot see men overcome their ego. It's something that I have to like, I feel like scream about, and like they still never will.
I think on a big level, it's fear.
Yeah, I've told men before, like, if you can drop your ego, it'll be the most amazing thing you've ever done for yourself and the people around you. But like for yourself so much, because I've had an ego. Like I grew up with men. I was taught to have an ego, and I still struggle with it to this day. But like whenever I drop it and I give myself that freedom, it's like a way better quality of life.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do feel bad for a lot of the people who are, I think, the glass ego people, because it's a tough way to live. I think there's a lot of like brittleness and bitterness to it.
Yeah, and I wish they would know, like, we would forgive them,
Totally. I think it's interesting. The success of that series in general makes me think that we're a little bit more interested in the conversation than I think we used to be. People are oftentimes, I mean, like some people are. I have some guys reach out to me and be like, hey, like none of these made me mad until today. Like this one got me mad. Like and they've been sort of like testing themselves against the series. And then finally they found one that made them mad. And then some men reach out to me and they're like, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, oh, well.
Do you talk to men a lot, like, about it? Like, do you keep ongoing conversations with, like, men on TikTok about them confronting their egos?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't oftentimes, like, respond or read DMs because it can get pretty crazy in there. But, yeah, I have found it to be the men who are willing to engage with me, I think it's a worthy conversation to be had, because I don't think men really like talk to each other very much about stuff like this.
No, not at all. I don't think so either. Why do I act? I'm acting like I'm a man in these conversations. I'm like, no, we don't. No. I could see that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too, because like I don't have a ton of male friends, but the ones I do have are all ones who I think have been willing to do the work and unpack the complicated stuff that being a man gives you.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, because I wanted to address to you, because I have a lot of respect for you now, and I think that you're a great person, and I don't say that lightly. I also have an insane standard of what a good person means. So you're killing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I will say that I discredit men constantly because I make such general accusations, because it is the majority of men that are what I'm talking about. So the men who agree with me, or the men who aren't bad guys, are agreeing with me.
Sure.
I'll be like, white men suck, and the white men who don't suck agree with me that white men suck.
Yeah, and what I think it is you need to be able to like step outside of yourself, in the sense where it's like, if people are like, okay, like white men suck. If I hear that as a white man, my thought isn't, well, I'm a white man and I don't suck. My thought is, historically, like societally, statistically, like, yeah, like of course, of course, everybody has the right and maybe the need to be completely and absolutely weary. I think, yeah. Our politics over the last decade have really also, pushed that into focus. And I think it's a lot of people use, I think, niceness as an excuse to hide much more malicious behavior, in the sense where it's like, like most of our like Congress people and like senators are white men, and they're pushing through legislation that is actively, detrimental to LGBT people or to women or to people of color. Yes. And then when you're like, well, we hate white men now because you're doing this. They're like, be nice.
They're like, white people have been like, they comment on my stuff like, you want people to feel bad for you. You want people to like accept you, blah, blah, blah. But look at you judging white men and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, like for real? Of course I'm judging white men. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they've been doing.
Like straight white men in particular want everyone's memory to get really short really quickly.
Oh, and they do it to me very easily because I forget what I'm like upset about because my emotions are so heightened and I'm so sensitive. So I'm so focused on whatever is currently going on that by the time I get upset and I have confronted said white man about something, by the end of the conversation, I have no idea what I went in there with, and I have no idea how like I came out of it, and I'm feeling a little guilty.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
It's tough. I mean, these conversations are complicated because, of course, we feel emotionally about them because they're such high stakes for us, and people can always use those emotions against us. You know, in the sense where it's like, if you're having an argument concerning your rights. I use like the general you there. Like if you're like a LGBT person and you're having an argument with someone and it's about your ability to exist and be who you are in America, of course you're going to be emotional. But the other person can use that emotionality against you because it's an argument, and arguments are supposed to be completely and absolutely cold and logical, and it's a dark tactic that they have been using forever.
Yes, and I was actually saying this the other day that I came to a realization recently that everybody is like lying and manipulating. I thought that people weren't doing that because I wasn't doing that, and I thought if someone were to be lying and manipulating, that's like a bad person. Yeah, and it's like, oh no, that's everyone around me in the world. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, the people at the top are the best manipulators because if they weren't, they would have been out manipulated.
And yeah, that's how they get there.
No matter what, like that's facts. You have to be the best manipulator because if you were not manipulating people, you would be manipulated because it's really easy to manipulate people.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think there's such a big... I think people overvalue like politeness and niceness. Like the idea that like whenever people are supposed to advocate for themselves, but they're also supposed to be polite about it. Like I think that's the complicated dichotomy that people expect, and it's almost impossible to make change while being polite.
So I heard a little bit about your new show, Rabbit, and about it being complicated. It's on YouTube. Can you tell me what that is? Tell me all about it.
Totally. So Rabbit is a 5-episode miniseries that I made a couple months after coming out here. It's about a task rabbit who only takes tasks that are embarrassing or illegal.
Oh, I love this.
So every day he has a new like weird task. So the first episode is this woman hires him to break her nose because she wants a reconstructive nose job because she can't afford an elective one. And so he has to go over and they have this argument about whether or not he should break her nose because he gets there and she has like great looking nose. And in the second one he's going to go break off an engagement and so every episode is a new thing that he's doing. I
love that idea. That's a really good concept.
It's
wow.
It's really fun to make, and it's really fun to write because every week you get to do something completely new and different.
Oh, that'd be so fun. So you said it's a 5 episode?
5 episodes, yeah. And hopefully more at some point.
Yeah, I was like, no pressure, but I need more than 5.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. Sense. Everyone's like, these are too short and there needs to be more of them. And we're like, great, well... we'll find the money.
Let's. I'll help you with them. Like we can work on them together, and then we can just reach out to people for some trade work.
Yeah,
want to do some trade work? Clementine is dying over here. She's so proud of her son being in this series.
Yes.
So tell me, Francisco, what's up with Francisco in the series?
So yes, we have a scene in which Rabbit it's clear that he has been paid to like kill a dog. And it's clear that he has not done it because he calls his boss and he's like, hey, it's done. And he's like, how'd you do it? And Rabbit's like, hit it with a hammer.
Oh my God.
But he's like looking at a live dog. And Francisco, yes. This was the very first day of shooting. We were out in the desert, and our production designer Taylor comes over. She's like, "Hey, like this is the dog." And I look over. It's Francisco. He's so beautiful.
Such a sweet man.
And I say to Taylor, I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And there was a lot going on in the production that I wasn't like completely aware of. Everybody was doing their own stuff, their own job, and I was like, "Is this like a dog actor? Is this like an actor dog?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she was fucking with me, but she was like, "Yeah, it's $500 an hour."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Oh my God." And she like walked away. She did not clarify that she was kidding. And I go over to the director and I was like, "Dude, we gotta roll because we cannot afford this dog." I was like,
we're all the dog's time right now. Like, come on, guys. We gotta hurry.
And so they like put Francisco down and they like put the camera on him, and then like a gust of wind comes through and Francisco like shivers a little bit, and I was like, I would have paid more. I was like, that's an actor right there.
He is. He's so good. He's a good boy.
And then like later on, I was like, so what? I was like, that's like an hour of dog work, right? That's like $500. She was like, no, I was kidding. And I was like, that was a free dog. She was like, yeah. And I was like, wow.
Wow, he should be paid.
Yeah.
Social injustice right there.
I know. Yeah, that's true. You got to get him in a union.
Francisco. I am excited to maybe brainstorm with you at some point about some ideas, not to make, impose, but like, just do whatever our brains want, like creative shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm really fascinated and proud of you. Clementine's really fascinated and proud of her dog because, like, I would call Clementine a boy mom. Mm-hmm. She's a boy mom, but I don't think she's a toxic boy mom.
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say boy mom?
Totally. What
do you think about them?
About boy moms? Well, I have a boy mom, I guess.
Oh my God.
Boy mom, as defined on the internet in the toxic way that Demi's referring to, is a mom who is somewhat emotionally incestuous with her son.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have a boy mom.
Toxic boy mom would say to...
So I guess like that's like the mother-in-law who like will never ever think you're good enough for her son.
What I say is that basically they take out this lack of love from their husband and they invest it into their sons.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of weird. It's like...
It's creepy.
It can be. It can be creepy, but it's just toxic in general.
Yeah.
Because they do so much for the son and enable them so much to where now the son goes out into the world and doesn't know how to do anything for themselves and expects it from every woman and mistreats women who don't do that and makes them feel like they're lesser than because their mother did that all for them.
I mean, I think like
a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, you get used to the behavior that you're shown early on. Like people who like never clean up after themselves when they're kids because like everyone else does it. Like then they get older and then they just don't clean up after themselves, because it's not a thing that they have like instilled in them. So I imagine behavior of like, I'm perfect, I'm the best, I get unconditional love.
Where do you place the blame or do you?
I will say it's so hard with parenting in general because I think like, ultimately, not going to say that's not right. A lot of parenting comes from a place of like genuine like love and altruism. Like people just want their kids to be okay. But I think like, people are imperfect and there's so many complexes that can get involved with that. And I think, lack of love from the husband is definitely a big one. I mean, it's tough. I think if you, this is a PSA, if you feel like you might have been like raised by a boy mom, I think then the question is to like step back and maybe ask yourself like, what do people actually owe me? Like, what am I actually entitled to? Because I think if you grow up in a household of entitlement, then you're like, that's what I deserve. And it's a tough thing to ask yourself, but like, what do people in my life actually owe me? Does everything have to be done for me? And if you can ask that question, I think it leads to further questions like, what should I be doing for myself?
Do you think that there is any connection between men with glass egos and boy moms? Because I think that there could be, because the glass ego that the man has, I think is a result of some of the treatment from the father, and the father probably having a glass ego.
Totally.
Because I've been around a lot of glass egos, and I have had a glass ego myself at times, but not a glass ego. I would just say I've had an ego because, like, I know, like, why the fuck am I trying to prove I can fight a goose?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a big one. I think it's definitely related because you mirror the dynamics that you grow up with. So I think if your father has a glass ego and he will lash out at you for at all, critiquing any element of who he is or what he's tied his identity to, then you as a person are like, that's acceptable. And that's how I'm going to be. Because
that's acceptable.
Because, your brain's forming and you're like, that's what men do. Like, and that's what it all comes down to, I think, on a certain level. It's like, what do men do? And I think, when you're a kid and you see your father acting, particularly, toxic or fragile, you're like, that's what it is. And that's dangerous. And unlearning that is very difficult. It's a complicated and very long journey. It's a journey that a lot of people don't want to take, but I would assure people that it's absolutely worth it.
That is really encouraging for me to hear. And I would say to anyone listening who is like me, something that I wish I was better at is being more understanding of it being a journey and not being like, hey, drop that fucking ego today. Yeah. Like, I expect people to be able to do that, and that's very unfair of me to ask. So give people the grace of unlearning something, which is it's a complicated process. It's actually something you have to do to your brain.
Totally. And I think, like, in my experience with trying to help some people unpack that kind of stuff, I've always found, like, questions are infinitely more powerful than statements.
Wow. That is something to end on right
there. It is.
There. Questions are more powerful than statements. Wow, I love that. Listeners, we're going to play a very, very important, very educational game here in a little bit, so keep on listening. You probably don't have anything better to do. Okay, so now it's time for a very serious quiz. Very serious. My producer, Clementine, is going to hold up some photos, random sex toys, and Kyle and I are going to guess what they are. I feel like I'll probably be good at this game. Kyle, what do you think you're going to be like?
We'll see. I have a friend who owns a sex toy company, so she'll be very disappointed in me if I do very poorly. So very high stakes for me.
Wow.
We'll see.
Disclaimer.
We're going to see.
Okay, sex toy number 1.
I know exactly what that is.
I did too.
Okay, so yeah, it's like the wand. It's like the classic.
Magic wand.
The wand. The classic. I don't know. I've never used one of those, but I'd probably like it. But I feel like, oh, never mind. You don't have a clitoris.
Sex toy number 2.
That's just like a basic vibrating thing. I don't know the name of it, but you would just put it inside of you. But I would use it probably. You could use it on the outside as a vibrator or the inside as a vibrator. I know what that is. That's a little clit sucker. So it sucks your clit. I don't know if it has a name. It might be the womanizer. No, the womanizer goes inside too.
That was going to be my guess as well.
So the clit suckers, yeah, those are, I've used like all the sex toys. I've tried them all just to try to like emulate someone actually eating me out. I just, wanted to find it so bad. And there's nothing. But the clit suckers are nice, but you have to start with that because it's so gentle. If you can't start with a vibrator and then go to the clit sucker. Because it's just like, wow, you don't even feel it because your fucking clit is numb from the vibrator. So start off with the clit sucker. It's a nice different kind of orgasm.
It's an appetizer.
And apparently someone invented a man version of the clit sucker where it sucks your dick, and it's called the man milker or something like that.
Why did they have to call it a man milker?
It's at a like a white elephant gift exchange that I was at. Someone I know was given one of these, or wanted in the white elephant. And apparently, in order to use that particular device, you need like a serious amount of lube, or otherwise it'll rip your dick off. And this dude did not know that. And
are you this dude?
I'm not. I'm like, I have a friend who's recovering from horrible injuries from the man milker. I am not the victim of the man milker.
Okay, here's the last of the easier to guess ones.
Butt plug.
That's a butt plug.
Nice.
Butt plug. That looks like so cute. I wish I was into that.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's a jump.
That's a jump rope.
Oh my God! Wait. Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm gonna say that this.
Not a jump rope.
This is a thank you. This is a double-sided, elongated dildo. I'm assuming.
Exactly.
All right.
I would love to have this whenever I date women.
It's like an extension cord.
This one is for our foodies out there.
What do you do with that corn on the cob?
I have a guess. Do you like put it on your fingers for like fingering?
You finger. You put that on your fingers to finger with.
It's a corn finger puppet for fingering. A finger puppet.
My God, wait, I've never heard it. Wait,
That's what everybody in Kansas is doing.
Wait, how'd you know what this was?
I looked at it and I was like, well, that would fit on a finger. And I was like,
no, because here's the thing. You've heard of this before.
I have not.
I saw this and I thought that these could have been corn dildos. I would have never thought corn finger puppets.
Yeah.
You knew.
Well, there's two of them. That's the thing too.
I thought maybe his and hers.
Could be his and hers.
Finger puppets? I would never think to finger someone with this corn on the cob.
With corn. Yeah, it feels like.
I want to, you know what I want to do? Gnaw on this. I want to gnaw on that.
I feel like corn is an aggressively non-sexual vegetable. Can we say that?
But it's phallic.
You're right.
Okay. Ball. Please. This is what? I love this game. I'm about to order so many new sex toys.
I feel like maybe you can hug this one. He looks like he has big arms.
I'm thinking that it's something you can hump.
Oh, like you
a girl could grind on that.
You grab the guy, like the arms, maybe.
Maybe you hold on to the arms and you grind on that.
It all is a vibrator. It just vibrates, and so you can have two people each getting off on the little arms, or you can have the main part. But the fun part is that it is modeled after a clitoris. So that actually looks like what the clitoris looks like inside the body, is that shape.
So how big is it?
Yeah.
I think it's like...
I want this because I want to just hump it.
I think it's...
The whole thing vibrates?
I think it's like the size of a
I don't know
melon. I don't know.
I love that idea. Wow. Not the fidget spinner.
That is a butt plug fidget spinner.
Not a butt plug fidget spinner.
It's like if
you're a dom with ADD.
No, I would love to fidget spin. This would be so funny.
It's a funny idea.
It would just be for the pure aspect of how hilarious it would be.
I feel like I would be offended if someone used the fidget spinner while we were having sex.
But what if it feels nice?
Oh, wait. Now I can picture that feeling nice. It's like a hum. Zoom.
Like a slight vibration.
Interesting.
Wow. Oh. I don't know about you guys, but I am really horny.
It's perfect for the attention
in a
deficit.
non-sexual way, though. Just kind of like...
Intellectually horny.
Looking at all these sex toys, I'm just thinking about going home and masturbating. Not to the thought of you guys, for the record. Okay.
To the thought of your purchases.
Yeah.
I think for me the like least usable seems like the fidget spinner butt plug. I think it's a novelty.
I'm telling you, I don't think the hum of the spin should be underestimated.
Okay, that's true.
Listeners, if you come across, stumble upon any strange sex toys on the internet that aren't, gory or just really upsetting, please send them to DemiGoddessPod@gmail.com, and they could be included in the next Guess the Sex Toy, Let's Get Quizzical game.
Your emails must look insane.
Well, they're about to. That was a great plug, Clementine. God, that was perfect.
That was the best plug we've seen today.
That was the climax right there. That was the orgasm I needed. I'm so sorry. I don't know if I could get sued for this.
Sued?
Sexual harassment? I don't know. Where do they draw the line?
I mean, we are at the workplace.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Clementine's
So, like,
gonna sue
I
you.
didn't mean any of that.
Or Margot, our lovely engineer.
Margot, disregard. Please disregard. That was a really fun game. I'm really excited. Thanks for the plug, Clementine. I'm excited to see what y'all say. Also, send some emails about just what sex toys are really, really good. And maybe I'll talk about them if I think that they're worth talking about. All right, Kyle, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for sharing a very refreshing perspective on men. Thank you so much. What are your plugs so everyone can check you out? Instagram, whatever, TikTok, YouTube, give it all.
On all social media, I'm at Kyle Prue.
Can you spell that?
What?
Can you spell that?
Oh, KYLEPRUE. And then watch Rabbit, the Rabbit web series. It's on YouTube. Francisco's in it. I'm in it. A lot of really talented, the actor performers. The directing by Max Mikowski's great.
Who's the guy that plays the guy that gives you orders?
Oh yes, Ken Davidian from Borat is my co-star. He's had a great, wonderful little career, and we're so lucky to have him in our show.
Who is that?
He's in Borat.
Okay, I have a Borat T-shirt.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He's so it's Borat and then Azamat, which is the guy, his producer, who goes it's that guy.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I want to meet him and I want to wear the Borat shirt.
Hell yeah.
Because I don't even know why I have that shirt. It's not even mine, but I've had it. It's made it across many states with me for many years.
Yeah, he'd love that, I think.
It would just be a fun little surprise for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rabbit on YouTube. At Kyle Prue on all platforms. Very good idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Smart.
Keeping it the same.
Yeah, mine's chaos.
It's a little bit more simple than Demi_not_Lovato.
Listeners, please help me. SOS. I need my Instagram changed. I need it changed. I need at Demi_not_Lovato changed. Now, yesterday, changed to at Demi. Please help me. I'll pay for it. I don't have any money right now though, but we can work something out.
We'll pay you an exposure.
Thanks for listening to this week's DemiGoddess. You better give us a 5-star rating and review if you know what's good for you. Just kidding. But please, be sure to tell your friends. We can all be friends together as you listen. You can follow me at Demi_not_Lovato on Instagram. Please Instagram change it to at Demi. And at Demilia on TikTok. That's at DEMLIA. DemiGoddess is available on all podcast platforms, or you can watch this full episode on our Eve YouTube channel. Be sure to watch it. It's so cute. So rate, reviews, and subscribe. A lot of hard work goes into this. Thank you. Bye.
DemiGoddess is part of the Eve Podcast Network and a Forever Dog production. Executive producer, Tracy Soren. Producer and editor, Clementine Yost. Development executive, Mariah Nickolas. Engineer, Margot Padilla. Theme song by Gabe Lopez. Cover photo by Stephanie Sais. Forever Dog Productions is Joe Cilio, Alex Ramsey, and Brett Boham.